Let's speak to ANC National Spokesperson Pule Mabe joining us. Mr. Mabe, on what basis has he been fired? Just give us your perspective.
Well, evening and evening to your viewers. Of course, I can confirm that Comrade Carl Niehaus has been dismissed from the employ of the African National Congress. In the interview that you just did with him, he did indeed confirm himself that he doesn't seem to be aware of programs of the ANC. All he knows about the ANC is distraction. I don't even think that he's aware that the organization he was working for up until today at 4 o'clock had a lekgotla over this weekend. He has listed all the failures to demonstrate to you that he is part of a certain category of arcaders who sit in corners looking for failures of this leadership, so that they could parade themselves at every opportunity they get to undermine the unity of the leadership duly elected at the 54th National Conference. Yeah. If Comrade Carl believes that his medical aid has been withheld, UIF withheld, he had an opportunity now in the 9 minutes or so that he had with the SABC to tell the people of South Africa what has been his official duties that he performed, worth of him being remunerated since the start of COVID-19. We see Carl Niehaus more on television and on social media and hear him across other mass media platforms. We rarely see him attending official programs of the ANC. Comrade Carl has never been in a program that the president of the ANC has been out doing outreach, or any other national leader of the African National Congress in that official way. Now, what he does is that he wants to propel and drive a narrative that will undermine the unity and renewal program that the ANC is embarked on. And we are not going to wait. We are going to act against anyone who brings the organization into disrepute, including those who claim to be decorated freedom fighters like him, because this ANC must live beyond Carl Niehaus. The decision taken by the ANC is to dismiss him from its employ, because at every opportunity he gets, he goes out to undermine the leadership of the ANC, even claiming fraudulently to be speaking on behalf of staffers. If he believes that the decision we have taken is wrong, he's most welcome to approach the courts in the land. For now, where we stand, he stands dismissed. As for his membership of the ANC, that matter is going to be processed by the disciplinary committee of the African National Congress.
Okay, so he could lose his membership of the ANC.
Can I conclude my point? Should it arrive at a conclusion to also deal with this, expand his membership in that way, or whatever decision they take, we are going to come back and communicate. No one is more powerful than the African National Congress, and no one is more revolutionary than the ANC itself, and no one espouses the discipline, revolutionary morality of the ANC than the rest of us. If he believes he represents that, then he will do so being outside the employ of the ANC. The staff members of the African National Congress have removed him. Can I just conclude my point?
You said that you would conclude a while ago. May I ask another question, please, because you've been talking for several minutes. Mr. Mabe, is what he's saying correct about the deductions?
You did this last week when I spoke to you. You are doing this for the second time when I speak to you.
Mr. Mabe, is he correct in what he says about the ANC?
You've got an option. If you invite us to your interviews and you want to tell us what to say, then there is no need to invite us.
Under no circumstances do I want to tell you what to say, Mr. Mabe. I want to let you answer questions, and I would also like to have some time to ask questions. You cannot speak without a pause for 5 minutes.
You are yourself again this week.
Okay.
It's not the first time that you stop me while I'm busy speaking.
Okay. If you speak for several minutes, I do have the right to interrupt and ask questions. That is my job, sir. Mr. Mabe, is he correct in what he's saying about the ANC?
Okay, let me go back and finish what I was saying, because we come here to come and say what we want to say, not what you want us to say. Let me now tell you, he has been going out undermining the leadership of the African National Congress. The leadership of the movement has now acted in the manner that it has done, so that it can restore its own standing in society, so that it drives an understanding that it is serious about dealing with dissent from its own ranks. We are not interested in entertaining the rightness or wrongness of Carl Niehaus, and we won't be talking about Carl Niehaus to the SABC going forward. We have now clarified ourselves. He's dismissed from the employ of the ANC. If he feels otherwise, or his rights have been infringed, he's most welcome to take his case to court because he has got rights as well. You can ask.
All right, so let's not talk about Carl Niehaus. You have clarified that. Thank you very much. My question is about the claims that he has made. Those still stand, and there were issues about companies not paying UIF contributions on behalf of their staffers. There was some concern about companies doing that. Is the ANC doing that? Are his claims correct?
Where there were challenges as it relates to payment of medical aid or any other staff contribution, there have been meetings with staff members, and they have been accordingly briefed of what would have been the challenges of the ANC. Today, the IEC made disclosures of how much parties have been able to raise through the Political Party Funding Act. And as everyone has seen, political parties have really not made sufficient. None of them have made over 30 million out of these contributions. Now, the ANC sits with a huge bill, including medical aid and all of that. Remember, all of these staff members of the ANC, many have been working in the organization before some of these laws came into force. What did it mean? Immediately when these laws came into force, it began disadvantaging the ANC from performing certain obligations that it was able to perform when the funding regime was a little bit flexible. Now, what the ANC is having to do, it is now having to adjust and adapt itself to deal with the funding conditions that exist. One, ANC is a donor-based organization. Membership fees of the ANC is only 10 rand a member. ANC has got only 1.5 million members in its own books. Of course, it does receive over 11 million voters, but not everyone, not every single voter of the African National Congress is a card-carrying member of the ANC. The ANC then went out itself to engage and embark on a crowdfunding initiative to allow everyone out there who believes in the values and policies of the ANC to make a contribution as little as 100 rand. South Africans have come forward, although it is not sufficient, and we are still appealing to them that unless they contribute to funding democracy, it will not be possible to consolidate and strengthen the ANC so that it can continue doing what it has been doing since 1994, which was to protect the rights of each and every South African, including those who are not necessarily members of the ANC.
Do you believe that you followed the correct processes here? Like you said, Mr. Neihaus is likely to challenge this. You said he's welcome to do so. Do you believe that you followed the labour law and dotted the I's and crossed the T's?
Well, I can tell you now that there is no member of the ANC who has enjoyed this rare privilege that Comrade Carl has enjoyed. At every opportunity that he found to speak in the public, on Twitter, everywhere else, he has sought to pelt stones at the African National Congress. And what did we do? The ANC has been forgiving, understanding, and accommodating. But the patience of the ANC does run out when it feels disrespected, especially when it is being made to look as if it is an uncaring organization. We know the situation that is faced by our staffers in the African National Congress, because the same situation affects NEC members who are in the full-time employ of the ANC, who have taken the pain of saying, while we know that our staff members are on go-slow, we will continue carrying the fort ourselves. Not that we are being paid, but we understand that while the ANC is a voluntary organization, it places bigger obligation and bigger responsibility on those of us that occupy leadership positions. But we are doing everything else to solve the problems. And if he believes that he has got a case, he can go ahead. But we can tell you now, we have followed it. Actually, it could be that some of these actions have been delayed. In terms of the code of conduct of the ANC and its own constitution rules outlined under Rule 25, anyone who brings the organization into disrepute could be dismissed.
Now, you hinted that he may lose his membership. You hinted that he may lose his membership. Is that likely to happen? What's the procedure there?
Well, it is not for me to speak to sanctions. I'm just saying being dismissed as a member is part of the sanctions that are available. You could be given a warning and all of that. I don't sit in the NDC. I do not know what conclusion the NDC will arrive at when it sits with the case. But what we understand as the National Executive Committee and what the NEC has always been saying is that we need to act against dissent in the same way that we are going to be acting against anyone found to have flouted the rules of selecting councillor candidates for local government elections. Everything else that gives the ANC a bad name and projects it as an uncaring organization will have to be acted upon, regardless of who is involved.
All right.
It no longer matters that, okay, people are not going to come and do wrong things in the ANC because they believe in their own seniority. They think that they were from the camps or they are these freedom fighters and all of that. The rules of the ANC apply to everyone. Members of the ANC are equal, from the one who is joining today at the age of 18 to the one who is a veteran.
All right.
Each and every member of the ANC is guided by the same constitution, joins the same organization, is entitled to be held in the very same way when it relates to the conduct and discipline of members of the ANC.
All right. Thank you for your time. ANC National Spokesperson Pule Mabe. So, yes, confirmation from the party and from Carl Niehaus himself that he has been fired by the ANC this evening. He said it happened about 2 hours after he handed in that statement saying why he shouldn't be fired.